Changing direction and going to the dressing room with Adam Kleeberger, who's played a bit of rugby in New Zealand and Australia and England.
Coach! Touch!
7 minutes remaining here at the stadium. 50-point margin. The average between these two teams when they've played 4 times previously is 49. And the clearing kick. Nicely spiraled away downfield. Good kick.
Well, that's a good bit of work in the closing stages of the game. In fact, he's had a torrid time, Aaron Carpenter, the number 8 from Canada. He's been very strong at times off the back of a retreating scrum and able to rescue his side there very, very effectively.
We've had a fair bit of rain in this second half. Hasn't been particularly heavy, but it's been consistent. As Ellis goes wide here for Sonny Bill Williams. Well, the ball pops out on the Canadian side, and Scott Franklin has it.
No hands! 20, please.
Andy Ellis was trying to get his hands in there, but was warned off it by the referee. Little kick through by Carpenter. Clever stuff and good hands from Guildford. He's made a real statement here today. As Ellis stretches in, but penalty to Canada.
No, the mark is here.
Well, only 10 penalties in the game. So the referee has let it go, let it flow.
Whereas Owen Franks had a good day on the scrum front. He'd be happy that he's got his brother alongside him for a few minutes at least. So Canada not seen much of the ball in the second half. Not at the right end of the field anyway.
Ryan Hamilton throws. Ball delivered up to Sean White, and having a go through the back division. Traynor had a big game. He won't forget this one in a hurry. 2 tries against the All Blacks. O'Toole, number 7, as Canada bring it back to this near side, and a lovely pass taken by Jeb Sinclair. He can't get it away though as far as Carpenter, and the All Blacks through Isaiah Toiava.
Hands away, Red!
Or throws the pass for Wepu. Drops the little one through, and Guildford read it well, and off he goes. Looking for some support now. He's got plenty of toe here. Guildford, he's going to make it 4.
Oh, well done, Zach Guildford. He's had a tough few weeks, this young man, and this is the only way to answer it. 4 tries to him today. He's worked like a Trojan, like he always done, and this is great little bit of vision by Wepu, and a greatly weighted kick, perfectly weighted. Guildford probably called it, and away he went, and once he was in open space, the Canadian defence was never going to catch him.
Well, this is why a lot of people like Piri Wepu in this playmaker role, because he's got this instinct that other players seem to feed off. And Guildford was the recipient there, but he was on exactly the same wavelength, just a step ahead of Canada the whole way. A wonderful finish from a guy who's super quick. And as we said in the first half, it's very hard to replace pure pace when you get anything like half a gap. And Zach Guildford, yes, the headlines will be for the right reason tomorrow.
Only one other All Black has scored 4 tries against Canada, and he's involved in this game, although now I think he's sitting on the bench. Mills Muliaina scored 4 back in 2003 as Wepu converts 72-15.
Well, it doesn't matter that he's got a number that says he plays on one side of the park. He plays all over the park.
Kickoff is made then with just a couple of minutes remaining. Whitelock And I think Ian Smith, Kevin Mialamu might be on there.
He gets another cap, a cheap one.
Probably takes over captain as well. Who knows? As Wepu's kick again, and not controlled by the Canadians. And now the All Blacks could produce another one here. Owen Franks feeds it up. And Whitelock takes it to ground. Ellis gets there quickly. And nicely controlled by Smith with a hack through. It was offside play, though, against Canada. Ellis. Wepu again drops another little kick in. And this is pretty clever, too, because it stays in and forces Canada to take it out.
Yeah, that is the cleverness and the awareness of Piri Wepu. Has just such a good feel for the game. This man sees space well. Perfectly weighted and directed kick.
So Kevin Mialamu racking up test number 89. Tipped by Borich, and Whitelock has it. There's Williams. Ben Franks hands it off to Mialamu. They've scored 11 tries today, the All Blacks, looking for one last pop, and oh, what a pass. Wepu gives it off to Vito, and the flying right winger picks up his second try.
You can see the pattern of play there from the All Blacks. At times they've tried to do this today, is get that rumble going around the fringes and through the middle as possible as Richie McCaw looks on. And when you've finally taken out all the defenders in close, you look for an inside pass. Exactly what Wepu did to Vito.
Well, he had three options. He could have had Owen Franks. He could have had Andy Ellis, who was running back in support of his own pass there. Wepu, but he chose the closest one off his shoulder, one he knows very well. And teammate Victor Vito. Very popular Wellington try, that one put together.
Wepu makes the conversion. Referee blows the whistle. And the game is over. And the All Blacks have won it by 79 points to 15. 12 tries to 2 in the finish.
Well, a very entertaining game, but Canada scored first through a penalty. The first time the All Blacks have been behind in this tournament, but then the All Blacks struck back with a number of long-range tries, some pretty impressive power running, getting over the advantage line, recycling the ball quickly, some good finishing. Then they went into the second half with a messy period for a while where handling lapses cost them. Canada scored first, but they finished the game strong now after rearranging their side a little bit through injury and a little bit through experimenting as they look ahead in this tournament. But all in all, a pretty impressive and emphatic performance by the All Blacks.
12 tries, 8 conversions, 1 penalty, to 2 tries, 1 penalty and 1 conversion. 79 points to 15. So this out there on the try scoring list for the Guildford, 4 of them. Vito and Kano got a couple as well, and an emphatic victory for New Zealand.
Well, look at on the other side of the ledger there, 2 tries to Canada, and look, that's some reward for them, both to trainer. But while they were totally outclassed, they never gave up Canada. They came with a good attitude to use what little ball they had. At times they lacked skill, but they had lots of courage and got some reward.
So it's off to the quarterfinals now for the All Blacks. And of course for Canada, that is the end of their tournament. And they will regard their win over Tonga as the highlight, no doubt about that. The draw against Japan and losses to the 2 teams from the pool who will advance to the quarterfinals, the All Blacks and France. So smiles all round there for the All Blacks. 1 or 2 injury concerns out of today's game. So we're standing by now to hear from Canadian skipper Pat Reardon with Ian Smith.
Well, Pat, on the wrong side of a pretty dominant All Black performance today, but you had some high points just either side of half-time.
Yeah, I think it was awesome. We talked a lot about making most of the opportunity. I think Connor, trainer here, right before halftime, 5 meters off the line, and he went for it. And again, just after halftime too. So that was great by him.
Yeah, when they run from deep, they're particularly dangerous. They have so many running options. You can't afford to miss tackles.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think the speed of the contact and the speed of some of the outside backs is a real factor today.
This is our last chance to have a chat to you. You've made inroads in this tournament. You'd be pretty pleased.
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointed with the way we finished here today, but real proud of the guys, the way they played as a team and individuals, and all the support down here has just been fantastic.
Great to have you here, Pat. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. Thanks, everybody, for coming out.
Yes, they've made a major contribution, have the Canadians. They're not going to automatically qualify for next time, but you'd be surprised if they weren't there as we look at the final stats in the game.
Well, the top two are pretty even, but the All Blacks' attacking prowess meant Canada had to make a lot of tackles, and it also meant that they missed a lot, and that hurt them majorly. 12 clean line breaks, and the All Blacks all power at scrum time, getting 4 against the feed and also a pushover.
Well, he was the 65th All Black captain today, Andrew Hoare, and he is with Ian Smith.
Well, Andrew Hoare, very dominant on the scoreboard, on the back of some pretty useful set-piece work, which is the core of the game.
Yeah, no, obviously we went out there with focus to get our scrum going. We're pretty happy with how that went, and line-out went pretty well, but probably the real concerns the kick-off and how we put ourselves under pressure after scoring points.
But finishing, another one of the strengths today is some great tries from deep.
Yeah, no, it's great to see some of those backs that haven't played a lot of footy like Zach Guilford get out there and cross the chalk 4 times is pretty special. So, we've got a talented squad, and hopefully we can make use of it in the next couple of weeks.
Well, all of a sudden it becomes competitive in a number of areas where you thought your Pats had them covered, and waking up this morning to the news that Dan's not going to be around, I suppose that adds to the resolve.
Yeah, it certainly does. Obviously, you can't lie about it. He's going to be pretty hard to replace. He's a special player, and we've just got to get around there and make sure that all 29 of us left get in there and make it easy for the guy wearing number 10. And I think they played pretty well today, and if we can keep building on that, we'll go a long way towards winning this thing.
Test match number 65, Test captain number 65, and that's pretty special for a Taranaki man.
Yeah, no, it's huge, and great honour to be captain of the All Blacks, and to come back here to my home Wellington and have a mum and dad in the stand too. So it's pretty special, and I'll be pretty sure I'll be keeping this jersey.
Good on you, Andrew.
Cheers, Smithy.
There he is, yes, a special day for Andrew Hoare, captaining the All Blacks. And he was in charge when they won the match by 79 points to 15. So as the crowd file out of the stadium, let's review the second half highlights. And from the All Blacks point of view, it was hardly a highlight, but Canada cashed in.
Yeah, shocking pass by Jimmy Cowan, which was cashed in by O'Connor. Sorry, Connor Trainer. Try number 2 for him. And this is the All Blacks opening their account in the second half. Sonny Bill Williams by Conrad Smith. Jimmy Cowan, who had made the mistake with the pass earlier, got a chance to redeem himself straight away.
So Jimmy Cowan scoring try number 7. And the All Blacks had made a change here, and Kano playing in number 8 showed real power and a bit of pace too to score from the scrum right under the posts. And the All Blacks brought up 50 at this stage, but the tries just kept coming.
Yeah, the All Blacks got a bit wobbly for a while, but this is Sonny Bill Williams' try. They just moved it wide, and one-on-one, he's a hard man to stop.
Well, we saw the first try scored by Jerome Kano, and it wasn't very long before another one came. And this is an old-fashioned pushover. Don't see these very often these days. In fact, very rare. But the control was good, and Kano simply collapsed on the ball, and the try was given.
So this is a deft little chip kick from Piriwepi, perfectly weighted, called for by Guilford, who had a lot of work to do. And just once he got in space after beating a couple of players, Andy Ellis struggling to keep up with him, and that was try number 4 for Zach Guilford.
And then right towards the end of the game, have a look at this from Wepu. Victor Vito, who was actually stationed on the wing, took the impasse, scored the try. And those were the 12 tries scored by the All Blacks. 2 to Canada. 79 points to 15. It's good to see that Adam Kleberger, who was involved in a heavy clash